All right. Today we had a live stream which showcased two new units. Now we had more stuff on this live stream of reveal, but we're gonna be talking mostly on this video specifically about these two new characters. In a few hours, whenever Grand Cross Database can translate the patch notes, when the patch notes come out, I'm gonna be talking more in depth about the other stuff because I want to have English translations for them so I can have more info on it. But we're gonna touch more. We're gonna touch a little bit on the other stuff as well. But I'm mainly gonna focus on these characters and talk about the characters themselves. Two new characters. Her name. Sorry, this is the new Ragnarok character. Is Brunhilder. Doesn't matter. Good looking blonde chick that looks like Saber from Fate. That's how I'm gonna call her. She is gorgeous, and I am so sad that she's not good. Let's. So she looks again. I think aesthetically looking, she looks gorgeous. But we need to talk, of course, about what she does. Her passive is for every remaining hero in the battlefield increases base stats by 12%. So a max of, if she counts, it says remaining hero in the battlefield. If she counts and the enemies count, that could be a lot actually. But if she counts, and I'm assuming she does, you know, get 36 from your team plus however many enemies there are. Because remember, this is remaining hero in the battlefield. This is not ally. It's remaining hero. So unless this is being interpreted incorrectly, and it is only allies that count, but I'm actually assuming here that it is any character on the field increases her stats by 12%. So that we're going to go by that. When an ally dies, increases base stats by 8%. So, you know, you lose out on the 12, but you get an 8 there. So that's fine. And it excludes PvP, deathmatch, and activate starts a battle. So that's a big kick on the nuts right there. Excludes PvP and deathmatch. So her passive only work on anything that isn't PvP or a deathmatch. Wow. What an unfortunate thing. I think that what they could have done was make her passive instead of 12, maybe 12% would have been too much. Because then at turn 1, if it's counting everybody on PvP, if you're playing, you know, 3v3 normal, that's 6 times 12. That's 72. 72? Am I correct? That's 72% plus base stats for free there. That's a little, that's a lot, you know? So maybe that's why what they could have done was maybe make it 5. If it like make it like 12, but put in parentheses, if it's on PvP, it's 5 or 6. It's not that much, but it works. All there, like, this unit doesn't work in PvP or deathmatch. The passive doesn't work. Why would you use a unit that doesn't have a passive when you can use a unit that does have a passive, you know, on those game modes? But she seems to be good for the new activity. Seems to be, because we're going to talk about that when we get there, okay? But the new activity seems to be hard, but it's red type, and they were like trying to advertise this character as being good for the new activity, but she's green, so I don't know. But yeah, really strange that they chose this way. So she only works for these like boss fights that come, you know, every 2 weeks, like every month you get like one of these bosses that you can play for 2 weeks that get some rewards. But like that, those activities are so easy. You don't. Such a shame, because I would love to use this unit. She looks. Look. No, I'm going to talk about the cards when we get here to the gameplay. Let me go back a little bit. Let me just play, because look at that art. She look. I don't want to simp too hard. Like I don't want to simp too hard, but she looks good. She's a good looking character. So we're just gonna talk about the skills. So as soon as they hover over, oh, they already okay. Sorry, I was waiting for them to hover over, but I guess skip that. So the first skill here, this one, it's a single target detonate. So for each ultimate gauge the enemy has, you're gonna do 20% more damage. The multipliers for it should be the same as Drill's card, Green Drill. So let me actually look him up. 160% for level 1, 240 for level 2, 400 for level 3. So, detonate card, decent card. The second skill is the same skill as Sariel, apparently. Let me actually look at Sariel's multiplier. Yes, it's the same skill as Sariel, Power Strike. 190 single target, 285 level 2, and 475% level 3. Does more damage depending on enemy's resistance. So let me actually turn on audio so you can hear her moaning. I hope they also have audio. Well, let me go back here. No, they were just talking about the skill. I guess she only really does any noise on the ultimate. They talk so much. They talk so much. They talk so much. I mean, that looks like an AoE skill though. That looks like an AoE skill though. But seems like it is a single target. I'm looking at the transitions Korean Jesus, and it says it is, you know, bonus damage based on enemy spatial, 190%. Let me see the multiplier again on that. 475. No, that's AoE. No, it's single target. Single target. Yeah. I don't know why that looks like an AoE skill, but yeah, that is the same skill as Sariel. So she is a damage dealer. She has a detonate card. She has the same skill as Sariel. Her substats are not bad. I actually looked at the substats through when they show the costumes. They're not bad. She would have been a good PvP unit with her passive. You know, even the way I said, like maybe 5-6% instead of 12. A shame, really, a shame. Yeah, I know not everything's PvP, but she also excludes deathmatch. Oh, wait, they had already showed the detonate skill. I had skipped it. Sorry, it's really easy to skip stuff on, like, you know, when the video is so long. It's 2 hours long. Yeah, this is her first skill. And they talk so long. Sorry, the quality of their video is very bad. But you can see she looks really good. Such a shame. Okay, her ultimate is deal 735% damage to single target and heals 80% of damage dealt. This is the same ultimate as Melascula? Question mark? No, because Melascula is life steals and it's 100% of damage. No, this has to have another effect, right? This has to be... Melascula's ultimate goes up to 840, which is a higher multiplier. This is 6/6, 725. And life steals 100% of the damage. This is a straight up downgrade of an ultimate. What? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Oh, that kind of looks good.
던지나? 오, 뭐야 이거?
투창인데
던지네.
The ult looks cool.
뭐 지역을 뭐
Everything about this character, except her passive, is great. Now, looking at the costumes here, I'm actually gonna show the costumes.
피해량의 80%만큼 회복을 시킨다라는 게
와우.
요것도 요거를 이제 얼마나 잘 이용하느냐에 따라서
My God, they talk so much.
특히 PVE 쪽에서
They talk so
네,
much.
좀 느낌이 오요. 자, 또 우리 오랜만에 이제 나왔으니까 이제 어떤 그 옷장을 또 이제 한번 봐야 되겠네요.
그렇죠. 옷장 봐야죠.
Man, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put 1.25.
좀 야, 관심 좀
Okay, this costume, alright, it hits. Let's be real here.
맞습니다.
이름이
예.
뭐야? 코스튬 이름이 뭐야?
코스튬 이름이 이제 아름다운 귀족 의복.
옛날에
옛날 귀족 그런
고대
느낌.
약간 귀족 이름이네.
그렇죠.
See, they talk so much.
황태자비의 활동.
All her costumes look great.
활동하기 약간 이렇게 좀
That cutting looks good.
그게 활동하기 쉬워 보이지는
With
않는데
the
그래도
shirt.
왕태자비 치고는 좀 활동 목에 들어간다.
그런데
홍세삽이 치고는
네, 그렇죠. 자, 근위기사의 왼쪽. 이 정도의 이제 느낌.
왜 좀 멋있다.
멋있죠.
네.
Yeah, all her costumes look good.
올라오고요.
Especially that first one.
다른 세계관 느낌으로 그죠?
왕태잡인데
몰래 어디를 뭐 들어가야 되나 봐요. 예.
그런
약간
느낌.
그런
But yeah, so
느낌 해야 되나?
그다음 우리가
character looks pretty good. My only hope is that when they re-release her, she'll have a better passive.
같이 바뀌기 때문에 아주 볼만합니다. 요거
I love how fast they go through the weapons compared to the the outfits.
네, 웨이트리스 아까 그
This is a funny one.
어울리네.
요거 들고 웨이트리스 있고
그렇습니다. 뷰티 쪽 가보면은 뷰티.
And then the head pieces. That haircut looks really good. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a
괜찮고.
Fire Emblem character.
이게 이제 기본.
Some of you guys who played Fire Emblem might actually know who I'm talking about. I don't know her name,
빨도 괜찮을 것 같기는
but
한데
마지막에 있잖아.
she kind of reminds me of with the haircut.
단발.
요거 단발 느낌.
But yeah, she aesthetically looks amazing. Now we're gonna talk about the second character, which is the brand new named Diane, which, as you can see by the video, she has some sort of like aura. The aura looks good. I don't think it looks as good as Bond, but I guess it represents her way better than if they just copy and pasted Bond's aura. Bond's aura represents him very well, and her aura, I feel like, also represents her very well. But I also have a gripe about her. So, and this is why I'm already saying, 12 minutes in the video, I recommend skipping this banner. Because the first character that we talked about, I mean, listen, as much as I want to simp for that character, no use for her in the game.
자, 개성도시 들어갑니다.
This Diane is solely specifically made to counter Margaret. But even still, I think that she doesn't do all that's necessary to do it. Let me explain why. So, her passive is when the hero uses a skill, removes 3 enemy buffs and debuffs, it increases damage by 40% per buff and debuff. So, she's made to counter Margaret. Margaret puts up the buffs for increased damage and decreased damage. And she's blue. Margaret's blue, sorry. Margaret's blue. Diane is green. So what you meant to do is use her to counter Margaret. Here's one issue that they actually presented and showed on the gameplay they showed on JP. Margaret, on the level 3, uses 5 buffs. Not 3, 5. The 50% damage increase, the 40% damage reduction, and the 3 buffs for basic stats. And when the end attacks her, or anyone on the team, it removes the 3 buffs for basic stats first, not the extra damage or damage reduction. So if you're gonna remove someone's level 3, you need to attack them twice with DN. Just something. That's fine though, but the increase is insane. Increases damage by 40% per buff and debuff. That's insane. That's 120% increased damage every time you attack, guaranteed. If you're attacking Margaret, if you're playing, and this is the issue with units that are made to counter another unit. Let's say you're playing against the 1. Very fair matchup there. Let's say you're playing against the 1. You're not gonna do anything. You're not gonna do anything. There's no buff there to remove. Maybe guys less shield. That's it. Or maybe if you guys use ults. That's it. For the majority of the time, you're not gonna have any buffs to remove to increase your attack. So that's a single unit counter there. It's just for Margaret. But yeah, that's her passive. Her skills. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the skills when we move on to the gameplay because I think it's more interesting. She's new named, by the way. So she has a different ultimate, which we'll talk about when we get there. So her first skill is the same one as Green Ascanor. 240%, level 1, no effect at all. Level 2 is a 360. I'm looking at Ascanor right now. Looking him up. 300, not 360. Oh yeah, I remember this skill does not increase that much damage at level 2. But it does increase a good amount for level 3. 300 for level 2. Fills ultimate gauge by 1. 500 for level 3. Fills ultimate gauge by 2. I want them to get to the second skill there. I think they're gonna show the skill. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Does the rocks. They talk so much. Watching these live streams is dreadful. Okay, yeah, 500 increases ultimate gauge by 2. 300 increases ultimate gauge by 1. You can see the numbers right there. I like the animation. That punch at the end looks very powerful. It looks powerful. I would love if they didn't talk as much. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Alright, second skill. And this is an interesting one because I don't actually recall any unit that actually has this, but I'm sure there is. I'm sure. I'm looking up. I don't. Okay. This is the same skill. Yeah, I knew I recalled it from somewhere. As Blue Giant DN, which the first skill does no effect at all. What is up with this unit having no effects on level 1s? No effect at all. Shoot 20%. So many characters these days have effects on level 1. Lolly Merlin, Sauriel. Anyways, 220%. And then level 2, 220, single target, by the way, of course. Disables attack for 1 turn. Level 3, 360, disables attack for 2 turns. So, that's that card. Also looks cool. I think both skills look powerful. The effect on screen, the shake a little bit. Attack seal. So, yeah. The only thing I'm confused about is her ultimate. Alright. Her ultimate is interesting, actually. So, her ultimate is increases all ally damage by 42%. It's so specific. It's 42% because it goes down, I'm assuming, and it increases per ult level. I'm assuming, because 42 is such an odd number. For 2 turns, and then deals 750% to all enemies. That is very high. Never mind. Never mind. It's not that high, but it's decently high actually. I'm just looking because I already had Blue Giant DN up, and Blue Giant DN gets like 900%, right? But here's the thing: you increase your own damage by 42% before it goes out. So I guess with the buff, it's very high. But yeah, so the ultimate animation is actually very cool. I like it. As soon as he does it, if he ever wants to.
근데 아까 정도 추가적으로 피해를 더 주게 되고.
They talk. I should talk over them. Alright, they're finally doing it.
필살기가 같이 들어가면 너무 센 거.
She becomes big!
심했네.
Gets the hammer and boom.
한 번만 더 써주세요.
I like it. I think the animation for this ultimate is really cool. It's a shame they don't show her getting bigger. The animation of her getting bigger, I'm assuming because of cosmetic purposes. I'm talking about the cosmetic that you change in the character because the outfit that she gets when she gets big is the same one that she just used in the series. Yeah, she gets big and she gets this one, right? So maybe the transformation would be very weird to see into that costume, but they could have done it. They could have just made it so she just becomes a larger version of whatever costume you have on, but that's fine. I don't mind it too much. It's a really cool ultimate. She becomes big and boom. That's it for the character. Oh, actually, let me show her cosmetics as well. She has really cool cosmetics too. Let's increase the speed. Oh, no. Okay, we gotta talk about the cosmetics. I really like this one. I really like this one. Don't add me. I really like this one. It's just the one I'm gonna use. It's just the one I'm gonna use when I get her. Yeah. Even though I do recommend player skipping, of course I will have to summon. It's my job.
깜찍이 초보 마술사입니다. 정말 깜찍하고 마술 실패해도 괜찮아요. 이런 친구는. 조금 실패해줘도 얼마든지 용서가 되는.
This costume is cool though, and this one is really good too. I'm in between actually. This one and the other one, because this one also hits.
이 코스튬은 사실은 이 새로이 나오는 요 3년 동안 겨울이 지속되고 있는 거기서는 배탈 나시 너무 배 복부가.
Oh, before I go, wow. So by this point I have the Japanese symbols for each substat memorized because Lamau, I played the game for 2 years. But I don't know the Korean. But I think this is resistance. It should be. This is This is resistance, right? 37%. Just 37% resistance. This is crit resistance. 63%, which is not great these days. Crit defense is 109%. The crit defense is actually very good, 109%. But that resistance and crit resistance is, for today's standards, is very bad. I didn't talk about the substats for the other character. I guess I'll go back. I'm sorry, if I'm incorrect about which one it is, I know the Japanese ones by memory. So we're watching the Korean stream because the Korean stream is way better than the Japanese one. I don't know the Korean symbols but this looks like it would be crit resistance because this is the same symbol as this one, and crit defense. So yeah, that it's either between, you know, that yellow jacket or the first one, for me personally. He equipped that one, of course. Of course. Show the others. Just go. Stop talking. And the gauntlets are her weapons. Ooh, I like that kickboxing. I mean, I don't know if it would fit as much as, I don't know. Maybe the jacket one wouldn't fit with this as much, but... Oh, I didn't talk about the attack substats, I'm sorry. So, this should be Pierce, 51%. 85% crit chance is actually good. And then 174 crit damage, it's very regular very basic 174. But the crit chance is very good, 85%.
그렇죠, 그렇죠. 그 빨간색 요거랑 매칭인데.
남자용 나올 때는 옷도 안 바꿔 입히면.
그러니까 넥타이랑 색깔.
And the haircuts, again, let's talk about this first. It's 130 recovery rate. I don't remember what the stat is. I remember it's just not very useful. Then 13% lifesteal.
그래서 괜찮죠. 그다음에 이제 우리 다이앤 머리 정말
머리.
This is a regular haircut.
괜찮아요.
요런 스타일 괜찮아.
털 머리.
This is the haircut probably for
오!
요거는
엄청 세 보이는데?
I don't know what costume that would be, what bundle that would be for.
멋있고 여기 기본 머리고
I like that one.
같이 해야 되는 거 같아. 모자가 보니까.
눈 하나 가리니까.
And I also like the last one as well.
마지막 걸스 펀치.
Yeah.
요거다.
I think I'm gonna rock this one.
오늘은 요거다가 뭔가요?
뭐 바꿔가면서 하는 거죠. 오늘
Anyways,
안 돼. 그
aesthetically these units look so good. That's all I'm giving each of them. So let's talk about the substats for this. Oh yeah, I'm rocking this one. Much better defense substat in the end. 72% resistance, 70% crit defense, which is actually it's not that much better. The resistance is much better, but in today's standards, it's okay. It's just we've been getting so many characters. Margaret has 93% crit resistance, and 79.5% crit defense. Not as good as the end,
맞습니다. 예.
but if the 70% crit defense, crit resistance can save you from taking a crit, you don't need crit defense.
이제 아름다운 귀족 의복.
옛날에.
옛날 귀족 그런
근데
느낌.
약간 기존이.
그렇죠.
Um,
잡이의 활동복.
Let me capture the weapon, sorry. 68.5% pierce, 83% crit chance. Again, the very good crit chance, just like the end. If only could use her more often. 200% crit damage is really good though. Again, the end has 170. 200 is very good though. Much higher than normal. 20% lifesteal is all I care about. Like, the stats are good. The unit would be really good for PvP if she had a passive, essentially. So these are the units. Aesthetically, they look very pleasant to look at. That is for damn sure. But I can't tell you, you know, efficiency-wise that you should summon for them. If you like waifus, go for it. I'm probably gonna 6-6 both just because I just like their... I'm simping. It's just how it is. But like, I can't tell you that you should do it, you know? There's a new stage. Not gonna go too deep because I want to leave that for the other video because this video is already 30 minutes long. But there's a new stage. I'm assuming fixed stage. It does have a timer on top, which is really weird. But I'm assuming it's a fixed stage that will be here forever. That you farm materials by fighting this big bird. Big bird. This is a team they use, by the way. The boss is red. And they're using 3 green units, which defies everything that I know of about this game. But Big Bird, they did the easiest stage. And it looked decently easy, but they made it look hard by taking insanely long to beat it. But I think by how the looks of the easiest stage is, that the hardest stage will be hard. So we'll see. But it looks like the hardest stage might actually be difficult. After they beat it, they got like very bad rewards for, you know, what it was. But you have like a 10% chance of getting this item and a 40% chance of getting 5 of this item. Or 40% chance of getting a silver chest and 20% chance of getting this item. What are they for, you ask? For this. Look at this behemoth of a gauntlet on Bond with a Pokeball. Whoa. This is the new weapon system. It's basically a new weapon for your characters, and for you to use them, you have to
뭐가 이렇게 막 화려하게 돼 있더라고요.
they haven't unlocked it yet. You have to play this new event and grind the materials from it, sorry. And with the materials, you can apply this super cool weapon to your characters, and each character will have their own unique weapon. This is the best part of the update by far, and Bon's weapon looks so good. I can't wait for this. So every single individual weapon will have a different passive as well. It's an additional passive for your characters. It's such an insane update, and I'm sorry that I'm making it a little shorter than I would. I'm definitely going more in depth with this on the other video. And bonds, by the way, so they're making this in batches. They're gonna release this in batches of characters, because if they release this for every character at once, it would be insane. So they're releasing as batches. Bon, Purgatory Bon, Red Lilia, Twigo, Elione, and an SR female character, which I don't know who it is. I apologize for that. Are getting this, but they only showed Bon's, Twigo's, and Lilia's. Bon's passive is for whenever an ally dies, increases his max HP by 15%. That's perfect. Like they're making specific passives for specific characters that meet how you want those characters to perform. It's such an insane update. So I think they already showed the materials you need. I want to go back to when they showed the materials, because okay, it's right here. So these are the materials you need. 15 of these, 30 of these, and 80 of these, which show like this. If you didn't know this, it was also in the bird thing. And 80 of these, I didn't see this, where you get these, and 5 million gold, and you unlock the weapon. So I'm glad they're making in batches, because again, if they had releases for every character, it would be insane. And when we move to Lilia, you can see that she has a completely different, stylized for her kind of weapon, where it looks like a dragon is around her her wrist. It's one of the coolest updates they've done in such a long time, and I'm really curious and very excited to see a lot of these characters' weapons. I want to see the ones so bad. And again, same cost, but they didn't have enough gold. Lilia's one, by the way, is not as good as Bon's, but it's an additional passive regardless. For every debuff, it doesn't say on her, but I'm assuming on the enemies. For every debuff, increases, I'm assuming the enemies, because it has to be, increases base stats by 10%, max of 5 times. So it's an additional extra passive. I think it's like, it's not as good as Bonds, I think, because Bonds can be really helpful on the Bond team, but it's good regardless. And Twigo has a freaking he has a whole, like a super shiny space sword. Twigo. And Twigo's passive is for 2 turns, I'm assuming when entering battle, Twigo increases HP by 30% and applies taunt. This is so good for the Bond team, because if a character dies, right, Bond increases his max HP by 15%, Twigo comes to the front, boom, increases HP by 30 and puts up a taunt. It's like, this is a thing I think they could really expand on and really be great. Now, one big worry I have is, are they gonna make this too hard to grind and make it insanely pay to win? Only time will tell. Because they're making this in batches, I am hoping really, really hard that it will be not as bad to grind, and people will easily be able to get for whatever characters they want because you don't have to get it for every character. Like, because the batch release 5 characters, you don't have to get 5 characters every time, right? For the characters that you want, and you know, the whales do it for every character if they want, but that people will be easily able to get for like Ban and maybe Twigo for this batch before the next batch comes out, you know? So, I don't know, time will tell, but I'm very excited. I'm actually really excited for this. This was a good, positive thing from the live stream. So, this is it for now. Waiting for patch notes. And sorry the video was very long, but thank you guys for watching.